Hey, brought you back in the hangar. Glad you tuned in. Anybody who did. There's quite a bit of you that do tune in. I'm still waiting for some parts to come in to finish off my landing gear and get that done. And once my landing gear is finished, a little while, another 2 weeks before I can get that done, because that's how long it takes some of these components to come in. But I'm waiting for its electronic components for the safeties and interlocks, that kind of stuff. I explained in a previous episode. But one of the things I didn't like, and yeah, maybe I'm too picky, I don't know. But what I didn't like was the fact that the main landing gear went up properly. The two wheels on the floats went all the way perfect. The nose gear, however, was about 2 inches short of going up. Probably could have gone up, 3 inches or more. But I did some measuring, put a yardstick on there and everything else, and then I, watched a bunch of people who had float planes with the gears retracted, that kind of stuff. And I noticed that where it was sitting, the nose wheel, it would have been dragging in the water. Dragging in the water quite a bit, actually, until I got it up on step. I needed to get that nose wheel up another 2 inches to get it out of the water, or just skimming the top of the water, so I can put it up on step and then lift off and fly away off the water. Well, that means I had to replace the linear actuator with a longer one. Now, here's the problem. The original linear actuator was the exact length needed to raise the main landing gears, the two wheels. But it's too short to raise the front. So if I get one that's long enough to raise the front wheel, that means I'm pulling the cables too far for the main gear. Long story short, and the cable for the front landing gear was cut and crimped for the shorter one. So now if I'm raising it farther up, the going up part's not a problem. It's the coming down part. It needs to come down far enough to engage a locking mechanism. So yeah, I had to extend the nose gear by 5 centimeters. I know you guys in the US, most of the guys in the US are watching. That's about 2 inches. So 5 centimeters is what I needed to lengthen that cable. So I didn't lengthen the cable, I just put a bracket on there. And then I noticed when I was retracting, the bracket was catching on the edge of the linear actuator and bending things. So I had to make a little ramp thingy, and I'll show that to you as well in a minute. So that when it hits there, it rides up and doesn't bind. Just little things, it's the little things. And it's 5 o'clock now, and I've been here since 11 o'clock this morning, trying to figure out how to get this different linear actuator in there. Anyway, so I've got it figured out, and I'm happy with how it is right now. I might be overly picky with these things, but I don't care. I want to be overly picky with it. And so I've just riveted in permanently the brackets that are holding that linear actuator in it. Until now it's been Clecos, but I was happy, tested it a bunch of times. That's where it's staying. Put in the rivets. Done. So I'm just going to close it up over here and assemble everything again. The one thing that it means with the longer linear actuator and everything else means that when the landing gear goes down and locked for land operations, the two cables that lead to the main landing gears are going to retract. The main landing gear will hit bottom, and then they'll keep on retracting for another 5 centimeters. There'll be quite a bit of slop in there. I'm not worried about that. I was just concerned that when it was fully retracted, that there was enough loose play in the nose gear so that nose wheel would drop and that little locking pin would drop in place, which it does. So that's good. It just means I get a little loosey cables when the landing gear is down, and I don't care about that. So it's coming along. yeah, I'll carry on with my work. I'm just going to fast forward through a lot of stuff because you've seen me drill holes and, you know, pop rivets or pull rivets. These are all blind rivets I'm using right now. You've seen all that before, unless you're really, really interested in watching me drill holes and deburr them and rivet. Don't think so. But maybe you are. Let me know in the comments down below. Oh, speaking of comments, when you log on and see this video, there's a like button. Hit it, because it means that YouTube says, hey, other people like this, and Rumble also does the same thing, because I'm uploading it on both platforms. Yeah, just hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, costs you nothing, absolutely zero. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'd really appreciate that. Thanks very much. That was my shameless self-promotion part. Okay, so yeah, still working on landing gear. After I get this landing gear in, oh, I do have something. Let me be right back.
A few moments later.
Remember I mentioned about the water rudder, the cable that you pull to lift the water rudder out, and then when you drop the water rudder in, the tradition for Canadian bush pilots on float planes is that they use a bottle opener, so that when they land and they dock, you know, they got the water rudder down and flight operations are done, they can open themselves up a cool beverage. There you go. There, that is the handle for my water rudder, and it's fancy. It's got wood. Ooh. Although I just noticed these rivets are a little loose. Cheap. That's okay. I do have a method of squeezing rivets down, so I'm going to do that first. But anyways, thought I'd, you know, I wanted just a bottle opener with a loop here, but it came with a can opener portion. I'm debating, do I leave the can opener and then just run a cable through this hole here, and I think so, you know, because you never know, maybe you got a can of something to open as well. I don't know. Leave a you know, comment whether you think I should grind this off and just make it a loop to hang it with, or leave it as it is. I'm thinking if I grind it off, this chrome plating might expose the cheap metal underneath, and it'll probably rust. So it might be better to leave it as it is, or maybe this chrome plating is cheap already and it'll rust, you know, regardless of what I do to it. Don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out together. You and I, the two of us, we're on an adventure. Well, actually, right now, about the 602 of us, or something like that, number of subscribers I got. So, yeah, so I'm going to go squeeze these rivets down so that this wood is not wiggly jiggly. But there you go. There's my water rudder. Just, I picked it up at a local store. It was cheap. It was like $4. What do you expect for $4? Loose rivets? Yeah, okay, fine. Anyways, onward. And I'll talk to you again, or maybe I'll do a little talking while I'm working. I don't know. We'll see. So, pitter patter, let's get at her.
And on a beautiful summer day this weekend, they had a fly-in and a pancake breakfast here at the airport. So most of the people have left. There's a few people still departing, as you can see right now. Somebody's departing, and they'll give a little wing wag as they're lifting off. And of course, what would a fly-in with pancake breakfast not be without? Well, a ride for the kiddies that they can ride up and down the runway. Yeah, somebody built a little train for the kiddies to get rides around, and of course adults too. If you notice, the caboose is a little more comfy than the little airplanes that they have going by, pulled by the tractor. They're putting it away for the next fly-in and fun events here at the airport. Just thought I'd throw this in just to give you an idea of what's happening up here in Canada. Okay, trying something different here. I'm going to narrate at real speed. That's the new, longer linear actuator that I'm just fitting in here. And now I'm drilling some holes, and I'm going to be riveting the brackets in place. I was going to do like a montage of work. I figured I'll just cut up in little sections and do a lot of editing. And there's the rivet gun going in. There's a story on that rivet gun. Oh, it's coming up soon. Now I'm doing it on the other side, drilling and then mounting that bracket. I had to move that other bracket farther forward, which is why I got to drill new holes and rivet these new holes. And here I go again with that rivet gun. I'm going to stop talking because the next part, yeah, I got a beef.
Okay. Rivet gun, made by Arrow. They usually make good products, you know, handles a whole bunch of different rivets. The threads inside this head have stripped. You only hand tighten these things. But this is steel, this is cheap Chinesium metal, and these heads basically don't hold in anymore, making this rivet gun useless. I'm going to find out what the warranty is on these things, but I highly doubt there's any warranty on it. I'm not impressed. I bought it because it had a swivel head. You can turn the head and do riveting at different angles. But this cheap cast aluminum just did not stand up. And I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed in Arrow. They usually make good products, but this one is a Model 300. And yeah, the metal they used on this is a piece of crap. Good concept, poor quality. Okay, that was my rant.
2 hours later.
Okay, I'm not sure how I'm going to edit all this. There's a lot there, but there's an awful lot there. It's late. Couple things that I discovered when I was doing more testing. One of the little brackets I made that pulls on the cables, it's aluminum angle bracket. It was actually bending a little bit. Didn't like that. Let me show you. Bring you over here. Where is it? Oh, that's not it. Oh no, where did I put it? Horrors, there it is. Okay, let's get into the light over here. Yeah, you see that? It's kind of bent, and that's kind of pulled out a little bit. And yeah, so that's not strong enough. It's thin wall, very thin wall stuff. So yeah, gonna pick up something that's at least twice the thickness. And it was bending because I didn't have the cables adjusted properly, and so the cables, the rear, the main landing gear was in the top, and it was still pulling about another 2 centimeters, and it was like bending up there. So I was really stressing the shit out of it. So yeah, naturally it bent. I've adjusted the cables; they're right now, but I got to make another one of those little brackets, but I want to make it out of a thicker aluminum, of course, so that it doesn't bend. And then I discovered something else. When the linear actuator, the new one that's 2 inches longer, extended all the way out, I was interfering with my rear rudder pedals. Let me show you. I'll show you from the front here. Hang on a second. I got to clasp these legs. I've got the camera on the tripod so that you don't hear all the crunching with my fingers. There we go. Not sure if you can see it. I'll find out in editing. But this goes back to those rudder pedals. Now that rudder pedal and that rudder pedal were on the opposite sides, meaning that this tube that was attached to that rudder pedal, and the attachment point was actually inboard a little bit. And when the linear actuator was fully extended, the bottom of this was hitting it. Not good. So I thought, well, man, what do I do now? Well, why don't I just swap those rudder pedals? So I did. Is there a problem with it? Nope, they work just perfectly fine. I've tried it back and forth. They're fine. I had to also swap these out, and anyways, because they've got a bit of a cant to them. If you've ever built the Challenger, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's just fine right where it is. So now it has 100% clearance from that linear actuator, which is at the very end. Which, by the way, you might notice doesn't have any of the brackets. The cable's on there because I've got the bracket out because it bent. So, hey, it's experimental, you know. So you try to account for everything, but yeah, you don't always. Okay, let's face it. There's times when you go, oh crap, did this wrong, and you fix it. And if I do something wrong and it doesn't work right, I'm not going to hide it from you guys because I know there's a bunch of Challenger owners out there that are watching closely what I'm doing for two reasons. One is, hey, giving you ideas. The other one is to criticize the shit out of me. The ones that are looking for ideas, well, okay. I'll try to do my best. I'll do that by showing you my mistakes as well. And because if I've learned from my mistakes, I'm hoping that you would learn from them as well. So, yeah, as it works out now, though, that longer linear actuator does lift the nose up 2 more inches, the nose wheel, which is right here. It lifts it up 2 more inches, which should clear all the water. It's only got like 1.25 inches left to go up. I don't think it's that critical. I will find out when I put this thing on the water, though. I'll find out pretty quick. I mean, it won't make me flip onto my nose or anything like that. It's just, I'm just going to see how much drag it actually does get until I get up on step. If there's a lot of drag on this thing on step, then I got to rethink this thing again and pull it into the hangar and over the winter redesign it. But I don't think so. I'm pretty confident that it's lifting the nose wheel up high enough to get out of the water stream when the floats are on step, and to keep it far enough out of the water stream that it might be like 1/4 inch in the water stream, so it doesn't, you know, or 1/2 inch, whatever, so that it doesn't provide a huge amount of drag, so that it, you know, prevents me from getting up on step when I'm ready to take off. So I'm happy with that, and I'm looking forward to getting this thing finished. The electronics is what's holding this up. I can't put the nose cone on with the pedostatic system. That's going to be sitting right here with the pedostatic tube out the front here. I can't finish that until I finish all the other stuff around here because of clearance issues. You know, I'm not going to start trying to work on my back, twisting, turning, and everything else. No, with the nose off, I got full clearance to everything, so let's just leave it off. So yeah, when I get the final parts in, they're on back order. Some digital logic chips that I ordered. When they get in and I put it together and test it and try to break it, which is normal, and if I don't break it, well, I'll try harder because I like breaking things that I make, because now I know what it takes to break it and whether I find it acceptable, that it's robust enough for what my purposes are. It's got to be able to survive some torture testing. You know, it's going to control my landing gear going up and down, and it's going to prevent my landing gear from moving if the locks are in place. Very important. So that's yet to come. Once that's in, then I get the nose cone on and get this buttoned up at the front. And oh, water rudder. Hang on, guys. The traditional, oh boy, there you go. The traditional water rudder handle has been installed and is there. It's crimped on. I just crimped the cable onto there, and I figured I'll leave the little pokey part. You know, doesn't really hurt anything. So what I need to do now is just, you know, I don't know if you can see that. Let's pull it back here. I need to put some sort of a hook here, so that when I pull it back, I can hook it on here and it'll stay. And then when I'm in the water, I just pull it out and let it go down, and I have a water rudder. So there we go, bottle opener water rudder handle. Oh, rotten camera work, getting you guys all dizzy and sick. So yeah, had to do it. It's a float plane, and it's tradition. Actually, I spoke to a couple of old-timers, older than me. My guys have been flying float planes up in northern Canada for a few decades, and I asked them, says, what's the deal with a water rudder handle and bottle opener? Is that real? He says, oh yeah. He says, every beaver and otter and everything else that's on floats that's flying up north, he says, you'll find most of them have a bottle opener for the handle. There's some that don't, you know, fine, but this one does now, so it's tradition. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for following along. I really, really do appreciate it. Appreciate the comments. Oh, hang on. Move this camera a bit here. Appreciate all the comments. Appreciate all the likes, and definitely appreciate the subscribes. And these posts will be getting a little more frequent, not that much more frequent right now, because things are a little slow moving here to get things going. And but it will pick up eventually, and then we're going to be going on adventures next year. Oh, I know it's a year away. It's next summer. You know, a tent, fishing rods, take you with me, go fishing, eat fresh fish on the beach, go camping, bringing you all along. So, if you want to come along with all that as well, after all this work is done, you got to subscribe. There, more shameless self-promotion. Anyways, I do appreciate it. I really, really do. Keep the comments coming, and even the criticism ones, yeah, you know, I do listen to them. I don't always take the criticism and apply it, but sometimes some of you guys have a criticism that's actually quite valid, and going, you know what, I hadn't thought of that. So don't be shy. Well, only don't be mean, okay? I know, there's enough of that going around the world. You know, we gotta be nicer to each other. So, on that note, thanks again for joining me in the hangar. I shall see you again, and remember, like Red Green used to say in the Red Green Show, keep your stick on the ice. Bye for now.
Thank you all for following along. I do appreciate the comments and the subscribes and all that kind of good stuff, and the thumbs up. So have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye for now.